A very good morning to all of you. So today I am going to cover the topic necrosis, their types. Then we will also look into the histopathological alteration with respect to skin and gills, if time permits. So without delay, we will directly enter into the slides. So I will request to all of you that kindly mute your microphone so that we can carry out further. Okay. So probably you have studied little bit about the necrosis, what necrosis is. When a cell got an injury, there may be two results. Either the injury may be a reversible type or it may be irreversible. Means a cell can cope up the injury and regenerate, or otherwise the death can occur. So necrosis is nothing but the name given to the accidental death of cells and living tissue, may be caused due to the trauma or any accident. So necrosis is what? This is a less orderly than apoptosis. What apoptosis is? This is the programmed cell death. But in case of necrosis is accidental cell death. So there is a difference between these both of these terms. So necrosis is accidental cell death and apoptosis is programmed cell death. It means that apoptosis is the natural process through which our cell got mature and die, and that has been carried out by different phagocytic cells to the dumping ground like melanomacrophage centers. But in case of necrosis, it is not programmed one, but the destruction or cell injury is irregular type. So in contrast with apoptosis, cleanup of all cell debris by phagocytes of the immune system is more difficult. In contrast with apoptosis, cleanup of cell debris by phagocytes of the immune system is more difficult, as the disorderly death does not send cell signals which tell nearby phagocytes to engulf the dying cells. Means that in case of necrosis, there is disorderly death, but in case of apoptosis, where programmed cell death occurs, so obviously the cell signaling will also occurs by the different cytokines. So why in case of necrosis, where the cell signaling doesn't work, and the cell signaling doesn't work, then also the professional phagocytes work abruptly. So this lack of signaling makes it harder for the immune system to locate and recycle dead cells which have died through necrosis. And so the release of intracellular content after cellular membrane damage is the cause of inflammation in necrosis. Means here the release of intracellular, once the cell injury will occur by any accident or any trauma, then what will happen? The release of intracellular content occurs after the cellular membrane rupture, and once the cellular membrane ruptures, it causes inflammation. I hope that all of you are knowing now what inflammation is. So when we see the cellular change, I would like to add a few points with this slide. If we see the changes based on the nuclear pathology or nuclear margination So this can be categorized into three. On the basis of nuclear changes, the pathology of cell can be categorized into three. They can be, they may be karyohexis, karyolysis, or pycnosis, as we have discussed several times in classes, I hope. Pycnosis is what? This is the clumping of nuclear materials. Karyohexis is the margination of chromatin and the nuclear membrane, and karyolysis is the rupture of nuclear membrane and spreading out the nuclear content within the cytosol or the cytoplasma. Okay. Then there are 7 distinct types of morphologic patterns of necrosis. These are the coagulative necrosis, the liquefactive necrosis, fat necrosis, hemorrhagic necrosis, then caseous necrosis, fibrinoid necrosis, and so on. So, if we discuss about the coagulative necrosis, it is typically seen in hypoxic environments. So, what is the main difference? Coagulative necrosis is, in this, the cell outline remains same after cell death. How it occurs? Coagulative necrosis occurs when, as we know that each and every cell requires some kind of nutrition, and the nutrition is derived from where? It is derived from the blood. So the coagulative necrosis occurs where the blood does not enters into a cell, so that the nutrition gets stopped. So once the nutrition gets stopped, so within that, then there will be two kind of changes. What? The first one, the protein will degrade, and second one, the enzymatic hydrolysis or enzymatic degradation of the cellular contents. So the coagulative necrosis is that only. In this, what happens? The cell outlines remain same, but the within that cell, the it becomes thick, it becomes viscous liquid mass. So why the name is coagulative necrosis? Because it occurs due to the coagulation of protein. Okay. Then liquefactive necrosis. Liquefactive necrosis is also known as colliquative necrosis. It is associated with cell destruction and pus formation. Mainly liquefactive or colliquative necrosis occurs where there is more water content within the cell, like neurons or glial cells. In this, cell destruct, cell outlines completely digest, the cytosol remain, the cytosol suspended within the particular space, within that space, and you can see the pus formation. You can see the liquid viscous mass where the various where the cells become digested. So there are basically two difference. In case of coagulative necrosis, where the coagulative necrosis occurs due to ischemia. Ischemia means due to obstruction in the blood supply within a particular tissue, and it occurs where? Generally in kidney, liver, spleen, where the protein content is much more higher. In case of liquefactive necrosis, cell digested completely. Cell digests completely, and here you cannot get any kind of cell outlines. The pus formation occurs. Why? Because there are many neutrophils, they migrate at the site of injury, and you can see these phagocytic cells, they digest cell completely, and even those dead and decayed neutrophils and those phagocytes suspended there. So it is like a liquefaction of a particular cell. So why the name has been derived from there, that is liquefactive or colliquative necrosis. Then what is ischemia? Just right now we have discussed that coagulative necrosis occurs due to ischemia. So what is ischemia? It is the restriction of blood supply in the brain produces liquefactive rather than coagulative necrosis. What we have discussed, तो coagulative necrosis में क्या होता है? ischemia होता है. But in case of liquefactive necrosis, what occurs? In the brain produces liquefactive rather than coagulative necrosis. In case of brain, where the water content is much more higher in glial cells, there liquefactive necrosis occurs. Then hemorrhagic necrosis. Hemorrhagic necrosis is due to blockage of venous drainage of an organ or tissue. What is hemorrhagic? Hemorrhagic मतलब रक्त स्नाव, हिंदी में हम लोग बोलते हैं. तो hemorrhagic necrosis is due to blockage of the venous drainage of an organ or tissue. कहीं से ब्लड गया, क्लॉट हो गया और वहां पे ब्लॉकेज हो गई. तो इस तरह के नेक्रोसिस, इसके कारण जो नाइबरिंग सेल्स को जो सेल डेथ होते हैं उनको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? हेमोरेजिक नेक्रोसिस. जैसे कि जनरली हम लोग देखते हैं कि कहीं पर भी कोई कट गया और आसपास के भी टिश्यू क्या होते हैं? धीरे धीरे डाई हो जाते हैं, डिके होने लगते हैं, ड्यू टू वहां पे जो पपड़ियां जम जाती हैं वो क्या करता है? ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट करता है कहीं ना कहीं. देन caseous necrosis. What is caseous necrosis? So caseous necrosis is a specific form of coagulation necrosis typically caused by mycobacteria. So basically there are three kinds of, even though you can get 5 kinds, 7 kinds of necrosis, but mainly 3 kind of necrosis can be found in general. They are coagulative necrosis, liquefactive or colliquative necrosis, and third one is fat necrosis. So caseous necrosis is the advanced form of coagulative necrosis. When coagulative necrosis persists for a long duration of time, then what happens? When it persists, so there may be chances of infection by some of the opportunist pathogen like mycobacteria. And what the mycobacteria does there? They cause caseation of that particular tissue, particular wound. So that caseation, caseous मतलब क्या होता है? वो पूरा लिक्विफाई तो कर देता है, अंदर के जो सेल कंटेंट होंगे, सेल आउटलाइन रिमेन्स होगा. और माइकोबैक्टीरिया वंस दे आर इंट्रासेल्युलर पैथोजन, isn't it? Once they will enter into it, so they produce caseous necrosis. Means the, जैसे हम लोग दही का मतलब whitish masses, you can see the chalky or whitish masses within that cell. So that is the difference between caseous, दही जैसा दिखेगा. Then fatty necrosis. Just right now we have discussed that the third kind, the most prominent one, is the fatty necrosis that occurs in general into the fatty tissues. And fatty necrosis results from the action of lipases. Lipase is an enzyme that may be found within a particular fat tissues, isn't it? Like pancreas. So in case of pancreatitis, where you can see there is the fat deposition, the inflammation of fat, you can say. Okay, so action of lipase occurs. Once lipase will break down the fatty tissues, then it becomes clumsy, isn't it? So we can say that fatty necrosis occurs within a fatty tissue like outer part of pancreas. Okay, then the liquid next one is the fibrinoid necrosis. This necrosis is caused by immune mediated vascular damage. So vascular damage is also found in hemorrhagic necrosis, but in case of fibrinoid necrosis, it is mediated by immune system. And due to the mediation of this immune system, if any vascular damage occurs, then we can say this kind of necrosis as a fibrinoid necrosis. Why fibrinoid necrosis? Because it is marked by deposition of fibrin like proteinaceous materials. And where? In arterial walls, which appears smudgy and eosinophilic on light microscope. Got? So why it is named as fibrinoid necrosis? So these were the types of necrosis. Then somewhere if you get the transmigration, so transmigration is a process of migration across the endothelium via the process of diapedesis. So sometime within our study period, if I will say diapedesis or transmigration means migration across the epithelial barrier or endothelium. Then what is diapedesis is? Diapedesis is माइग्रेशन ऑफ व्हाइट ब्लड सेल्स अक्रॉस द इंडोथेलियम ऑफ ब्लड सेल्स. जैसे हम लोग मैंने आप लोगों को बताया था कैसे इंडोथेलियम से इन्फ्लामेटरी सेल्स जो होते हैं, जो न्यूट्रोफिल्स होते हैं, रिलीज आउट होता है. ठीक है. So vessel to outside due to injury or trauma is called diapedesis. Okay. Then you just remind the little bit about the cellular players that plays a vast role in case of immune within our immune system. So they are lymphocytes, macrophages. These are the cellular players, so called. Macrophages, plasma cells, eosinophils, mast cells. Lymphocytes contains what? Lymphocytes is क्या होता है? Lymphocyte, B cell or T cell. These are B lymphocyte or T lymphocyte. Even some kind of natural killer cell. What it is? Then macrophages, phagocytes produced by monocytes. ठीक है. Then plasma cells, antibody produced with WC, whatever, all these things you have been studied. But if we focused on the eosinophilia, suppose eosinophilia occurs where there is the infection by any kind of parasite. If there will be parasitic infection, the number of eosinophil will be increased, so called eosinophilia. Okay. So here you can see it is written viral infection. So viral infection, what is virus? Virus is an obligate intracellular parasite, nothing else. Then mast cells. Mast cells, if the number of mast cells increases, if the histamine level rises up, it means there is an allergical response due to some abnormal condition within our body system. Okay. So all these things you can study out. So I will not cover all these things because we have already studied little bit about this in immunology. So here you can get some of the slides. If you have difficulties in understanding, then you can get it through. That chronic inflammation, when chronic inflammation occurs, then what happens? The number of monocytes will be more at the site of injury. But in case of acute inflammation, the number of neutrophils will be more. One thing I would like to discuss about, that is the pus and the abscess. Pus is pus formation when the cell digests completely and the number of dead and decayed neutrophils you can get it more. And what is abscess? In case of chronic inflammation, when acute inflammation after a particular period of time, it lingers for a long period of time, that particular inflammation, it leads to chronic inflammation. And once acute inflammation enters into a chronic inflammation stage, then abscess form. Abscess means at the site of injury there is a layer of monocytes and macrophages, means the number of monocytes of macrophages will be much more higher than that of neutrophils. Okay. And you can found a layer of macrophage or monocytes, and within the periphery of that wound, within that periphery of wound, you can get monocytes and macrophages, but within that cavity you can get the pus. It becomes yellowish in color or creamy in color. And with the time frame, within the time frame, if there the opportunist pathogen grows within that injurious site, it cause gangrene. कभी कभी कोई घाव होता है, यदि घाव बनने की प्रक्रिया को तुम देखोगे तो कैसा होता है, जनरली पहले कट होता है, कट होने के बाद हो सकता है उसमें पस हो जाए। यदि ये लंबे समय तक हमारा वो घाव बना रहता है, जैसे इन केस ऑफ मोस्ट कॉमनली सीन इन डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स, जहां पे घाव जल्दी ठीक नहीं हो पाते, ये क्या करता है, क्रॉनिक इन्फ्लामेशन में चला जाता है। क्रॉनिक इन्फ्लामेशन में चला जाएगा तो क्या होगा, वो जो घाव के चारों ओर क्या होते हैं, एक रफ स्ट्रक्चर बनता चला जाता है। वो जो रफ है वो क्या है कि मोनोसाइट्स और मैक्रोफेज से जो प्रोफेशनल ईटर्स होते हैं वो आते हैं वहां से उनको क्लियर करने के लिए। जब वो उसके सराउंडिंग आ गए, व्हेन दे कम अप, अब क्या होता है, जो मास होता है वो क्या होता है, धीरे धीरे जो अंदर का जो डाइजेस्टेड मटेरियल होता है वो क्या होना शुरू हो जाता है, वो धीरे धीरे सॉलिडिफाइड होना शुरू हो जाता है। हो सकता है विद इन दैट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यदि अपॉर्चुनिस्ट पैथोजन ग्रो कर गए, अब वो क्या होता है, शुरू में पस हल्का पीला होता है, लेकिन टाइम फ्रेम के साथ साथ जैसे ही वाटरी कंटेंट कम होता चला गया, डाइजेशन हाइयर होता चला गया, तो वो क्या हो जाता है, पीलापन उसमें ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है। तो हम लोग देखते ही कह सकते हैं कि दिस इज नथिंग बट द इंजरी इज गॉट इनटू स्टेज ऑफ chronic inflammatory stage. Right? So what I mean to say that in chronic inflammation you can see the number of lymphocyte is much more higher than monocyte, macrophage and histiocytes are much more higher compared to other neutrophils. Then how neutrophils looks, so you just see there they are polymorphonuclear leukocyte, granulocyte, neutrophilic granulocyte. So there are several names through which a neutrophil can be called. In case of fish, I repeat it, in case of fish it is also called as type 1 leukocyte. What is it? Type 1 leukocyte neutrophils. So you can observe that these neutrophils having a multi-lobe. Then you can see the scar formation. Scar formation मतलब कहीं पर काला रंग का क्या होता है, दाग या धब्बा पड़ जाता है, हमें घाव होता है कुछ और वो घाव छूट जाता है। जब छूट जाता है तो तुम देखोगे एक हो जाता है, but in this case you can't get any kind of scar, right? Because of the Alphian cell in the fish doesn't get any kind of scar, and we found whether there had been a surgery with fish cells or not. और तुम लोग because इसको पड़ी the thick fish fit the direction of three cells in case of surgery purpose. तो सर्जरी में इसका यूज एक लार्ज स्किन है वो यूज किया जाता है because of relation of skin. Sometime we can discuss it. This is very much interesting. So fibrinous necrosis. Granuloma means any so the back per side get circled in professional cytic cells. So it granules मतलब रस्ट वाला granuloma giants outside two to one are called giants. If any you can along with us, if you get any fragment within that particular space or that particular site is also called fibrin movement. Okay, so layers. So this is mainly specific immunoglobulin isolate in this. It plays a part of mucosal defense system which having and contains several immunoglobulins within. So either they neutralize, trap, or they kill the pathogen with their properties. So microorganisms are removed there due to continuous proliferation. So what happens if the microbial load in the ecosystem much more higher? These become because then because they type of microcast within the their skin. ये ज़्यादा secrete करता है. Saliva हम लोग तो गस नहीं करता है. ज़्यादा यूज करता है. So this is the tendency of fish. क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा मास है जहाँ पे turbid हुआ water या फिर ज़्यादा micro आई होगा and they say of with the fat in them. So the upper part is the what is of mitotic divisions. And of cells, cells, then lymphocyte and macrophages. So you can get it there. then the layer of dermis comes, which is composed of two layers, straight and the second.
आज रात में रावण का वध
रावण
कर
को
दिया।
बताओ तो सुभद्रा कौन थी?
हाँ
हेलो,
क्या सर आ गए।
So it is composed of two layers, stratum spongiosum and stratum compactum. The first one is made up of loose collagen network, reticulin fibers, pigment cells, and mast cells. The other one is stratum compactum, which is a collagenous dense matrix that provides structural strength, and melanophores, which contains melanin pigments. So after the dermis, hypodermis comes. It is the loose adipose tissue which is much more vascular and a place for development of infection. So infection takes place at the site of hypodermis instead of dermis and other layer. Generally infection found in this region, hypodermis. So you can see here, this is the picture and it is well designated. What is epidermis, where the scale pocket is, where the stratum compactum, the number 4th is muscle, 5 is so so what kind of changes